Hello there, I am Dr. C.N. Okolubo. You're welcome to my YouTube channel where we'll be solving problems relating to business mathematics, business statistics, analysis for business decision, as well as other related topics. I want to encourage you as you go through these videos with me, you have your paper, your pen, and your calculator to solve these problems with me. Also, please do like, share, and subscribe so that you can receive notifications for upcoming videos that we'll be uploading. Thank you. As you can see on the board, we have transposition problem, and then we have the northwest corner method, example 1. The example we have here is telling us that the demand from centers 1, 2, and 3, the columns are usually the demand, and then the rows, these are the rows, are the supply. We have the supply on the row, and then we have the demand on the column. So the demand from centers 1, 2, and 3 is given, and then the volume of demand is represented by 300, 800, and 400 for the demand. And then you also have the volume of supply from centers from factories 1, A, B, and C are 100, 500, and 900. If you sum these values, it should give you the same amount of these values for the transposition model to work. If you add these values, 100 plus 500, 600, 600 plus 900 will give you 1,500. The same way here, 300 plus 800, that's 1,100. 1,100 plus 400 will give you 1,500. So we have our model given here. Another thing is that you will see that these values here, 5, 9, 5, 5, 10, 4. Let me tilt this a little. Let me tilt this a little to say 3, okay? Let me tilt it to 3. Alright, so that you have different values. So you have 5, 9, and 3, 8, 10, and 4. These are the cost, the unit cost of transporting from factory A to center 1, factory A to center 2, factory A to center 3. These are the unit costs. This is from factory B to center 1, factory B to center 2, factory B to center 3. Then factory C to center 1, factory C to center 2, and factory C to center 3. So sometimes in an exam situation, you might be given the table, the matrix already like this, or in one of the examples we're going to treat, you are going to have the question given in prose form. So we now have to find a way of representing the storyline that we're given in this table. Meanwhile, let's solve this problem using the northwest corner method. Now, the northwest corner method means that for us to start distributing these volumes, we need to start from the top leftmost corner. We have the north, this is the north, and this is the west. We have the north and the west. So we start from this corner, and then after we've exhausted all the supplies into this box and this row, before we move to the next row and exhaust, before we move to the next row and exhaust. That's the way the northwest corner method works. So in doing that, what we want to do is that we try to push in as much volume that has been supplied into a point of demand as much as possible, so that we exhaust all that we have as much as possible, comparing the demand and the supply. So in this case now, the northwest corner method, we're going to start from this point here, and then we look at here the factory A can supply 100, whereas center 1 is demanding 300. So since their demand is 300, we have to exhaust the demand we have to now exhaust the supply of factory A. So what we're going to do is that we'll put in this 100 into this box here, into this cell. The 100 from factory A has gone in here. It crosses out this, so we have exhausted this, and we have a 0 here. Then this reduces to 200 because we have taken 100 already from factory A. Now we'll move on. Now since this has been exhausted, we have exhausted the supply. We have exhausted the supply of factory A. Factory A cannot supply to any of these other centers. So we move to the next level. We move to the next. We take from factory B. So from factory B, there's still the demand of 200. There's still the demand of 200 here, and factory B can supply 500. I hope you're following. Factory B can supply 500, and we still have an excess demand from center A of 200. So what we'll do, we'll exhaust the 200 here into from factory B. So this cancels out. This cancels out the 200, and this is reduced further by 200, so that we have 300 on that side. Now we move on. Since we've exhausted this one, we now move this way. Remember I said we move from row to row. Now from factory B, we have supply of 300. Now in coming here, we have the demand from center 2 of 800, and the best way we can try to satisfy them is to take the 300 from factory B here. We'll fill in factory B and exhaust it here. We'll cross out this, so this becomes 0, and then we'll reduce this by 500. I hope you're following. Okay, now let's move to this point. Now if we move here, you realize that from factory B, we have exhausted all the supplies of 500. They have 500. We have exhausted the supply of 200 and 300. So we move to the next row. In moving to the next row, we come here and ask, do we have any problem here? No, we have satisfied center 1 already here. We have satisfied center 1. Coming to center 2, we still have 500 unsatisfied here. And since we still have 500 unsatisfied, and then from center C, from factory C, we can still get 500. We have 900 here. So this 500 comes in here from factory C, satisfying the demand of center 2, and this crosses out, becomes 0, and then we're left with 400 here. Then we move to this last cell. For this last cell, what we're going to have will be, obviously, we have 400 demand from center 3, and we have 400 supplies for factory C. So 400 will come in here. Now we have fully exhausted all the supplies from all the factories into the center. What we're now going to do is that we need to check for the transportation costs using this method. And for us to know that what we have done is right, there's an optimal model that we need to check. Now for us to know how the number of cells that we need to fill, we have to check for the number of rows plus the number of columns minus 1 will give us the optimum number. Now in this case, we have the number of rows to be what? To be 3, plus the number of columns to be 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6 minus 1 gives us 5. So how many cells did we fill? We filled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is correct. Now let's now check for the transportation costs. Transport or distribution costs. To do this, we will see that from what we've looked at, follow me, what we have, you see that from factory A to center 1, we're having 100 tons times 5 naira. In this case, we'll find the solution to this. Then we have this one. This is from factory B to center 1. That will be 200 times 8 naira. From factory B again to center 2, as you can see, B to 2, we have 300 times 10. That gives us something else. Then we have from factory C to center 2. Factory C to center 2, we have 500 times 7. Okay, then from factory C again to center 3, we have 400 times 8. So let's find this. Let's find the answers. 100 times 555 is 500 naira. 200 times 8 gives us 1,600. 300 times 10 gives us 3,000. 500 times 7 gives us 3,500. And then last but not the least, 400 times 8 gives us 3,200. And then we find the total. The total should give us 11,800. So this is the cost of transporting goods or commodity from factories A, B, C to centers 1, 2, 3. I want to appreciate your following me on this video, this lecture. I'd encourage you to watch it again and then check out the other videos that will be releasing on this same method of dealing with transportation model. God bless you.